Hey everyone, it's Fry1940 here. Today we're taking a look at the Mi-2 by Digital Aeronautics. Now this is some debut add-on that they've created after 3 years of work, and it's only available at the moment for Microsoft 2020. They are making a 2024 version. This does fly in 2024, however it's not officially supported, so I don't want to review it in 2024. We'll take a look at this in 2020 and I'll show you how it flies so you can make an informed decision if you want to buy it or not. Let's take a look in the cockpit here, and let's crouch down because the default spot is not right. So just flying the Mi-8, in DCS is enough to get me going in this thing. So we got our battery here, turn that on, turn the left, there we go. Let's turn the breaker bars up. Okay. Get our fan going. It's always important. So this is tied to the battery, which is interesting. I don't know how that is in real life. I would have thought that this goes through the requires the generators to be on or the AC converters to be on, but who knows? Not me. If you guys know, let me know if that's true or not. Let's get this going here. And so what's really cool is like we can start this up just like that. Hold that down. And I've seen this in real life, in the videos of the real life startup. You can hit this interrupt starting just to test out the safety feature, and it'll actually work. So it'll stop that, and then it'll go again. There's one video I saw a pilot do this twice or 3 times for each engine, which I don't know why he did that. I could understand like once just seeing if it's going to work or not. So once that's going, then we can do our engine fuel lever right overhead, just like the Mi-8 and DCS. Let's go ahead and uncage these guys. Turn our rear altimeter on. That guy I like to set to 10 meters. Oops. There we go. Alright, so that's at. We'll wait for yeah, once that's out we can start the other one. Just press that on. What? Did I not click that? Oh, you know what? Yeah, I do that all the time. The way that that's angled is it throws me off. I don't know if I actually press the button. Come on. There we go. Okay, and then we'll get the other one going. Alright, we'll let that start up, and then we can go ahead and turn on the left generator for now. Turn the converter on. Turn our fire switch on. We probably should have had that on earlier. That can go on. Those guys are good. We can throttle all the way up. And we close our door here. So this door works. This co-pilot door doesn't work, and also the rear cabin door in the back corner there, that doesn't work either. We'll talk about a little bit of that kind of stuff after we get flying, but we'll talk about the flight model and stuff, and we'll get into reviewing that stuff first. Turn the right generator on. Hydraulic system's good, so I think we're all good to go now. We can switch that to the center and then turn that to running. Put that to that. Yeah, okay. So the parking brake is set by, I think, a latch that holds this brake pad on. There's no like toe brakes for this helicopter, similar to Mi-8. You just got this paddle. I think the MiG-21 is also like that. So you turn your parking brake off like that, and now if you hold the brake button, you should be able to see that. You can see there that dial moves on the pressure to see if you got brake power or not. So with the brake off, we should just be able to push forward on the cyclic and then roll around. You'll want to use your pedals as well to coordinate that, but you can also add a little bit of collective in and kind of roll pretty smoothly. So it does feel good. You kind of feel the weight of the aircraft as you're driving yourself around, and you do have to balance with the pedals and the cyclic, but there's no erratic movement, like no crazy hip hopping, like bouncing around that we saw kind of with the Mi-17 add-on from Saracen. This feels really good. So that's one of the core things I want to check for while I'm on the ground. Now let's go ahead and just take off. So let's come to a stop here first. Alright, so we will lift off the ground. And I'll show you one of the first things I noticed, which I thought was a little odd, and if you guys know the answer to this, let me know. So this helicopter, similar to the Mi-8, the blades are going clockwise, right? So they're going from left to right, which means the fuselage wants to go from right to left. So if I take my feet off the pedals and I just try to hold it straight, you see it's starting to spin to the left there, right? Okay, so let me arrest that spin. Let's go back down a little bit. Now, the way that spin is being countered is our pedal inputs, right? And this helicopter has a rear rotor, a tail rotor on the right side of the aircraft. So it's a pusher propeller. So imagine the nose wanting to turn left like this, right, from the torque. Well, when we add our pedal inputs in, we're going to push the tail. So it should want to make the aircraft, the combined force of that tail rotor plus the nose wanting to spin to the left, the net force should be that we kind of strafe to the left here. And so to counter that, you would need right cyclic, and you'd probably hover with your right wheel low. In American helicopters, it's usually left skid low because it's going the other way, but you don't really get that in this, and I don't know if that's really a quirk in the Mi-2 and that's how it is, because it might be. That's one of the first things I noticed, because I'm holding some left cyclic. If you see down there, if I take that left cyclic out, you see the helicopter naturally just wants to pull over to the right, so its translating tendency is that direction. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be. It doesn't seem like it's supposed to be that way, so I just don't know. So I'll say that about that. That was one of the first things I noticed. But like flying around, you definitely feel, you don't feel like you're like a rigid part of the body. You can see some shaking there, so that's another cool thing. That shaking there was, I think, a simulation of the transverse flow, which happens when you come in and out of effective translational lift. So even if we come out of it, it'll probably be super subtle, but it's around 50 kilometers per hour. So if we slow down, there's some bumping right there. So yeah, that's from that transverse flow where the rotors as you slow down, or also while you speed up. So that's pretty cool. It's also in DCS, so it's nice to see that here. It's kind of a nice visual cue to let you identify that you're slowing down and you're at a certain speed, or you're speeding up, getting into ETL. So the sounds in this thing are amazing, and the sounds are really cool because you can definitely hear the change in the engine whine. So if I increase my collective a lot, we'll watch this, we'll hear the engines whining, and if we watch the main rotor RPM, we see that it actually goes lower. If I try to go as high as I could, eventually it goes down to like 60 or so. I don't think it'll ever make it so like you can over torque your engine or overheat it or anything. Because I've done this where I've climbed like thousands of meters. But if you get up to about somewhere around like 12,000-ish feet, you definitely won't be able to exceed that and go any higher. You'll just lose. Yeah, I think at some point your engines do cut out. I don't know if it's from oxygen starvation, but I don't believe that. Maybe it shouldn't do that at like 12,000 feet, but the engines do get really, really weak, and I do think they cut out eventually. But what we're going to try now is one of the things that I'm kind of bugged about or bummed out about this thing, because I love how it flies. Like, it feels like you're flying underneath the disc. Flying the Mi-8 in DCS, you can naturally fly this thing, and it feels the way that you probably envision it would, being like a smaller Soviet helicopter. But we can't do auto rotation, so let me just go ahead and just kill the engine here. So both engines are out. We're right by North Island, so if I lower my collective, you'll see that down to like 2 or 3 degrees of pitch. Trying to lower it down, keep the nose low. to build up speed, and we're just not getting any speed. The main rotor RPM is still dying even though we're descending at a rapid pace, and yep, nothing works. As we were diving there, now the main rotor RPM is speeding up for some reason. But as the main rotor RPM dies and decays like it was doing, you don't really get any cyclic authority anymore, because the disc that you're trying to fly is just not producing any lift anymore. So I reached out to the developer from the same kind of instant message that they sent me asking if I wanted to review it, and I asked them about it, and I don't know if it was a bot or something, but it basically just said join their beta team Discord, and then ask the admin there about it or something like that. So I was like, all right, okay, I'm not doing that, but I wanted to see if they could just chime in and say that they were going to fix it or whatnot. Like I said, this was an add-on. They offered it to me for free, and I just declined because I wanted to actually buy it so I can give you a review of if it's worth it or not in my view, because I spent my own money on it. If you don't know how to start this thing up, you can hit Control E and it's just going to run through the whole thing for you. So while this is going on, let's talk about the value of it. So I think the way that they're pricing this is kind of interesting. So the first 2 weeks, I think, since it comes out, it's on a 30% sale off the main future price of it when it's fully complete. So that is 24 euros presently, which is about 28 US dollars on Sim Market. When this sale is over, there'll be another sale where it goes on to being 15% off the final price. And that works out to be like 29 euros, which is about 35 US dollars. And then they say when it's final, then it's going to be 35 euros about, and 41 US dollars. They don't really tell you what's coming and what. If you look at the product page for that on Sim Market, they talk about that pricing, but they don't talk about what features makes the thing feature complete, you know. So that's a big unknown. I will say at $28 US on sale right now, this is well worth it. If you like helicopters, if you like Soviet helicopters, if you like just helicopters in DCS and Microsoft Flight Sim, you definitely want to buy this. This is one of the better flight models, if not the best that I've flown, at least in Microsoft Flight Sim. I will say when it gets to a higher price point, all right, we are all good to go. Let's fly around some. Do a little rolling takeoff here. Yeah, when it gets to a higher price point, when it's at 15% off and it becomes around like 35 bucks, or what is that, 34.85 US dollars. I don't know that that's, I didn't throttle up, my HOTAS had the throttle down, that's my fault. There we go. Little rolling takeoff there. Yeah, $35, there's got to be more added to this. The quality of the sounds are amazing for this add-on, and then also if we look on the exterior model, you get about 10 or 11 liveries for this, and they're just beautiful. Some of them, the cockpit, depending on what you've got on, the cockpit will be in English or have some English components to it. Others, it'll just be Russian. So this one's got English cockpit, so that's why I'm using this one at the moment. But the texturing on it looks amazing. The weathering around it looks really nicely done. And then obviously the interior, the cockpit looks really well. We can even turn on the night lighting here. Just go like that. Yeah, if you're, like I said, I keep talking about the Mi-8 and DCS. If you know how to fly that and operate the systems in it, you'll feel right at home in this, and this is going to be no big deal to fly and operate. The switches and stuff are pretty much all the same, that kind of thing. There's no Doppler navigation or anything like that. You've got the ADF with the Arc 9, which uses like kilohertz frequencies, so I don't know if there's many of that stations around here in Southern California, but maybe there are. Maybe I'm just too ignorant, but I just visually fly this thing around. A weird thing about this also is if we're, and I don't know how true this is, because so the Mi-2, its speed record is like 264 kilometers per hour. The its cruise speed, it's like nominal cruise speed. It's usually around 180, 190 kilometers per hour, which is about like 100 knots, so it's not too fast. But I noticed if you go over like 200 kilometers per hour, you can see all this forward cyclic that I'm putting in, and it's not nosing down at all. It's almost like this thing wants to work itself into like a retreating blade stall. Even if I take my my trim out, zero it out, you can see the trimmers are zeroed there. Yeah, full cyclic forward, and it's kind of struggling to pitch downward. I don't know how realistic that is, or if the retreating blade stall would happen at such a slow speed. Yeah, you see that I'm just ballooning up right now in a climb, even though the cyclic's all the way forward. Once you like lower the collective, then you get all that control back. So that's a peculiar thing. Might be realistic. I don't fly the Mi-2 in real life, so I can't say. But it feels odd, given that thing can go pretty fast here. Yeah, so in terms of pricing, if this is $35, I would expect more from it. The sound set and the visuals of the cockpit interior and the exterior are bang on for those price points at $35 and $41. However, when you get up to that price range, I think that you need some sort of like EFB thing, like Navigraph integration, and maybe not even necessarily an electronic flight bag like you've got an iPad or something, because obviously older versions of this helicopters, the pilots didn't have iPads in the 60s and 70s. However, like some sort of I think some of the older add-ons that people, instead of using like an EFB, they've got maybe a clipboard, and you can configure the aircraft that way, because you can't see any visual cargo or passengers in this thing, or the co-pilot or anything like that. It's just you, and I would expect to be able to see some different payloads and that kind of thing. Also with some sort of configuration change. I'd like to be able to change the fuel tanks out, either if I want them on or not. Add some accessories or take some accessories off this thing. I would expect that kind of thing from a higher priced add-on. But like I said, at $28, this is completely fine. You're just flying this thing for the thrill of it and the fun of it. It's well worth it, I think, at $28. But when you start getting the pricier range, I think we need to see like different configurations that are adjustable by the pilot, or you, I should say. Maybe even an agricultural payload version, that kind of thing, or really just to take the fuel tanks off. That's what I'm more after there. But yeah, I think this is well worth it at less than $30. So it's going to be this price range for, I think, like 10 more days, as what I saw today when I looked it up. I don't know when this video is going to come out, maybe in 1 or 2 days. So this you might only have like 8 days left or a week left to go get this. If you're into helicopters, like I said, well worth it. Buy it, enjoy it. If you're into Soviet helicopters especially, definitely get this as well. And devs, if you're watching this, please make this for DCS. I would love flying this thing in DCS, and I know a lot of people in a couple of discords I go to and frequent with helicopters, especially Cold War helicopters. They would all buy it and play it in DCS. This is just a great, cool little helicopter to insert recon troops on a server and that kind of thing. And the flight model feels great, so I think it's awesome that this is the first add-on for these guys. So if you don't want to do that in DCS, then please please make the Mi-8 in Microsoft Flight Sim. I'd certainly love a good version of that, and it seems like you guys can tackle that with no problem. But I'm looking forward to any other projects these guys end up taking on, either like an Mi-1 or any other MIL helicopters. These guys they've done this helicopter right. Like I said, there's some peculiarities in this thing that I'm just not sure if it's an Mi-2 thing, but I've also watched some reviews from it's the various YouTubers, but I have seen written reviews from actual cadet pilots that have flown the Mi-2, and I think the only takeaway that I saw there is generally they like it, and I think this is a good job that was done by these devs. And if there were to change anything, I think it was how these ECLs work. So you can actually use these levers here, similar to the DCS Mi-8, to get a lot more power out of one engine. It's almost like an emergency control lever. So you can get, if you have an engine out, you can get additional power on the good engine, that kind of thing. But there was some, I think, procedural things there that somebody was complaining about. And also they said that this will be a little bit more maneuverable at lighter fuel loads at like less than 450 liters. So there's that, but overall they seem to like it, and if those guys liked it, I can't complain either. I would like to see auto rotations working though, and if somebody knows what I'm doing wrong, let me know. But you should be able to just, I think the main rotor RPM is just, it's like a glitch or something. It's not, it should be free spinning, right? So if I was to kill the engine and I dive towards the ground, that rush of air should be able to increase the main rotor RPM depending on what my collective input is, and I can find that sweet spot and kind of glide back to Earth, and then I can just use the rest of the collective there to kill the main rotor RPM and just finally set down and land safely. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on this module, or I say module, but this add-on. It's by Digital Aeronautics, and it's out right now on the sim market, so you can get it. I bought this with my own money. I'm reviewing this with that in mind, and I'm telling you, for less than 30 bucks, this is worth it. Go get it. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, let me know down below, and I'll get to them as soon as possible, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.